How would it feel to have a thriving fitness business and have the freedom to enjoy life at the fullest? Well, that is exactly what the Trainer Revenue Multiplier Show is going to give you. My name is Mathew Park. This is Jaime Filer.
Hey guys.
And we are here to serve.
What's going on, everybody? And welcome to the Trainer Revenue Multiplier podcast. As always, I am your host, Jaime Filer, and it has been way too long since I've had my last guest on, Nick Langer. What's
hello.
on, fam?
Oh, everything all at once.
Everything all at once. I heard it was everything and nothing all at once.
Yeah.
I think an amazing place to start this podcast. For those who don't know you, you really are a guy who does everything. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us a recap of how you got into training in the first place, why you started BR Physiques.
Yeah. So I got into coaching, personal training a long time ago, a lot like everybody else. I got in when the big box gyms were the things that you were doing. So I started out there in 2010. So now I've been in the industry now for about 14 years coaching people. And I actually got into the industry because of the fact that I had a passion for helping people, passion for health and fitness. At the time, I was actually in school getting a pre-med biology degree on my track to wanting to go to med school and actually become a doctor. And then as I got through college and started to kind of deep dive into the medical system, realized that they kind of just put a Band-Aid on things and don't go towards the root cause. And so it gave me a passion to kind of start diving even deeper into understanding the human body, how to actually optimize things, and getting people off of medications and utilizing functional health practices and the correct nutrition practices in order to kind of move things in the right direction rather than having it be something that we're just trying to put a Band-Aid on it, right? Finding the root cause is the big thing that we care about.
Yeah.
And outside of that, also educating and, educating those that work with us, but also educating those around me about why we're doing what we're doing and the reason behind the specific actions that we're taking. And, being able to have the knowledge to be able to portray those messages is really the biggest thing. So.
And that is a perfect segue. Mediums to spread the messages, because you have three gyms?
Currently? 3 gyms. Yep. 3 gyms.
And you have your online business. So talk to us about how you manage your time and energy. I guess we'll start with the online and then we can move to the in-person.
Yeah. So from a coaching standpoint, when it comes down to time, I'm a very structured person on my days and kind of how I've structured my days out. So prior, actually, before I even joined TRM, I was working, I think I was in the gym training people in person 5 days a week, 8 to 10 hours a day. And now I'm actually only training people in person 1 day a week. And that's pretty much how I've downgraded, quote unquote, my in-person training. But I stack it all in one day and it works well for me. It's a very easy thing for me to do. And then the next day is my day that I stack all of my online coaching. Yep. And then the other 3 days of my 5-day work week are my days that I spend building all the other businesses and doing all the back ends. So I learned a long time ago from another individual that it's very useful to create themes and have themes to your days. And that way it allows you to focus in on those specific themes for that day and you're not going all over the place. And one thing that I see with a lot of individuals that own businesses is that they're trying to do 20 different tasks in one day rather than actually focusing their energy on those specific tasks. And I also realize that when it comes down to working with clients, specifically in person, we need to be present. And so if your brain is thinking about 20 other things, you're not giving the service and or the attention you should to the individuals in front of you. And so that's an easy way for me to start to compartmentalize the way that I work my days. And it allows me to be a little bit more efficient when I am actually in those specific themes for each day.
So I'm curious because, I already understand there's one day's theme is your in-person clients. One day's theme is your online clients. Both of those make so much sense. But then what are the themes to the 3 days where you're working on your business rather than in your business?
Yeah. So my Wednesdays are typically my days that I'm actually doing back end work specifically for. I actually own a supplement store as well,
Yes,
and
you do.
then and then I actually own a supplement brand as well too. So typically my Wednesdays are focused more so on the store, my staff there, things like that. So that's going to be my Wednesday kind of theme.
Okay.
Uh, Thursdays are my days that I actually spend with my coaches. So actually making sure that the coaches on my team are actually
Leadership.
correct.
Leadership. Yeah.
Correct.
Okay.
So my Thursday is really on that, and then I've left my Friday to be kind of open. So I allow myself to kind of flow on those days, what feels right, what makes
You can
sense.
call it putting out fires day because
Correct. Yeah. Pretty much.
more what you do than just going with the flow. You're like,
Right.
fire. Yeah.
Correct. So, but it's one of those things where by Friday, I've realized twofold. Number one, I am an individual that when I'm surrounded by people for a long period of time, I get drained very fast. So because I'm emotionally kind of outputting a lot. And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
Fridays are really a day for me to be able to step back, but then also kind of initiate into things that I've left on the table throughout the entire week.
Yeah.
But it gives me closure to my week so that when it comes to Saturdays and Sundays, when I spend time with my family, I'm
Yep.
not constantly thinking about what should have been done throughout the week.
I love that. So and I'll come back. I have so many follow-up questions. How does your family fit in on the other days of the week? Like on the weekdays, when do you make time for them? How does that work?
Yeah. So the beautiful thing about this is my wife and I are very open and communicate about how we work.
Oh, good.
And so my mornings, I'm typically out of the house before anybody's up. I'm an early morning riser. I get stuff done very early because that's just when my energy is my highest. So typically I'm up and I'm out the door by about 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. So my kids, my wife, they're already in bed. They're still in bed. She doesn't want me to wake her up.
Yeah.
But what I do is I'm always home for dinner. So I'm always it's a guaranteed thing that I will be sitting at that table, making sure that I'm there for dinner. So I've made that a priority and a necessity that my boys and my wife will have us or have me at home for dinner.
Yep.
And that's basically the way that we work throughout the week. Now, the other thing is my Friday being that kind of free flux day is also a day where most of the time I'll end up blotting out about a couple extra hours to spend with my family on Friday to help me recharge because that is something that recharges me.
Yeah.
And so it's something that allows me to kind of, again, take a step back, but then also be able to spend the time that I want to with my boys when they're out of school because my oldest is out of school early on that day. So it's pretty cool to see him light up when I pull up and actually pick him up on that day. Right. So that's something that like feeds me is okay. I would much rather I've structured the way my work week works in a way that by Friday it can be focused more so on family and allow me to recharge over the weekend.
I love that. And then the other 3 days of the week, are you working from home, Nick? When you do your business days, are you working from home?
So I was until I actually, with the expansion of our gym, now I've got an entire office that's kind of off in its own world. So
that's great. Different environment.
Yes. So I'm here, but yet I'm not, right? And so for me, the nice part is I can't hear anything from the gym. Nobody knows, like nobody can hear me. But I've got windows and I've got sunlight and I've got a room that's not hidden in the corner. And so it works really well. And it gives me the time to, again, come here bright and early in the morning and get my work done and have my own kind of area that I'm surrounded by things that motivate me and that drive me. And just kind of gives me reprieve from everything else. And then the weekends, those are the times that I'll do. If I do work, it'll be from home, but that's about it.
Yeah, of course. So in terms, you mentioned that your family is something that recharges you. Do you have a morning routine? Because similar to you, I'm an extroverted introvert. I love people and I love hanging out with them until I don't. And I'm completely drained, right? I go 0 to 100 and then straight back to 0. What do you do in the morning before you leave for work as early as you do to fill your cup for a full day of emotions ahead?
Yeah. So first thing is always gratitude. I always wake up, always have at least 5 to 10 minutes where I just sit there in silence and actually
Nice.
have gratitude, and actually, honestly, thank God for just waking up, because, that alone is something that we should all be thankful for every day.
Yeah.
And then right after that, I always spend 15 minutes reading first thing in the morning, because it's something that kind of, for me, I'm typically reading anywhere from like science books to motivation to whatever it might be. So it just gets me in the right mindset for my day. And then right after that, I typically come here and then I get some sort of movement in first thing in the morning. I'm also a crazy 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning workout person too. So that might be what I do, or it might just be going for a walk outside for the first 15, 20 minutes before I start my day too. So
I love it. I love it. And that's so great that you set yourself up for success that way. And then whatever else comes at you, you'll be able to handle because you took care of Nick first.
correct. Yep.
Yeah. Which again, another great segue. And I'm going to say this in the most complimentary way possible. You've done so much. You've built yourself so big. You also strike me as the kind of guy who's made a lot of mistakes along the way.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes.
I would love to talk about some of the first mistakes you were making that that other trainers who are either online or in person can relate to. And then as you got bigger, how much bigger did the mistakes get as well?
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting because it's a paradigm shift. And what I mean by that is as you scale and as you grow, it becomes a character shift as well, because you end up stepping into a role that's much more leadership based rather than based on you, right? So in the beginning, I think like a lot of coaches, I was beating my head against the wall because I was trying to work against the clock in order to make more money. And so I was only just filling my schedule more and more and more. And again, making good money, but I was working 60, 70 hours a week to do that.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have any systems in place. I didn't have any operations in place. I didn't have any way to like manage what I was doing. I was just more so being reactive to what was going on in my day. Since then, and since kind of changing the way that I do my organization, I've gotten it down to a point where systematically there's a lot of the back end work that I was doing that was eating up a lot of my day is now optimized. And outside of that, the way that I work with clients is much more efficient and much faster. And so because of those aspects, I was able to kind of dial back the amount of hours that I was working, but still make the same amount of money.
Amazing.
And then we got to the next problem, which is once you start creating really good results for people, they refer a lot of people to you.
Yep.
And so then I had to come to an idea of, okay, I had at one point in time a roster of a little over 100 people between online and in person by myself.
Okay.
And for the service that I do, everything is very customized to the individual. It takes a little bit more time. And so I looked at it and I'm like, again, I'm back to working 80 hours a week because I've got online and in person. How do I make a change? And that's when BR Physiques came about, because I was like, okay, I need to bring on other like-minded individuals that understand the processes that I'm trying to create and the culture I'm trying to create. And I can spend my time teaching them the principles that I use with my people and not having to worry about the fact that the client's not getting the same result. So smarter, not harder here, right? Bringing on people and teaching them, and then teaching them those ways. And that worked. And we've grown and so on and so forth. And then you get to a certain point where you start to realize that from a leadership standpoint, there's a lot of changes you have to make. And so what I started to notice was a couple different things. The individuals that I brought on board, the individuals that I brought into the team, some of those people didn't fit. Some of those people didn't fit the culture. Some of those people didn't fit the mindset of where we were trying to go and what we're trying to create. And that honestly has now been something that has been continually being something that I'm trying to work on to improve. Because we're at a point right now where we're right at that precipice where the business could literally turn into this just ridiculous monster. Or it crumbles and it just goes back to doing it. Right. And so now it's more of an aspect of like, am I the leader that they want to follow? Am I giving them the vision of where this is going?
Yeah.
And also, am I taking into consideration what they want and what I can do for them in
Yeah.
order to help them reach their goals and their path along with me, right?
Yeah.
And so again, that's what I meant by paradigm shift. It's now changed in the aspect that I have to turn into a leader that I wasn't expecting to get to at this point in time.
Huh.
Um,
Yep.
and step into a different role that I was never expecting to do. And also looking at my own weaknesses to understand where I need to improve in order to become the person that can create a business that can go to that level.
Ooh, that is powerful, Nick.
Yeah.
So one question that I have for you is, do you think, and I guess if you said no, it would be not a paradox, hypocritical. Do you think a leader is someone who should be working in their business as much as you are by taking as many clients as you do?
So that's actually the biggest thing here now is I have quite literally been fighting with myself over the
Yeah.
past few years.
Dude, yeah.
I have downsized my roster quite a bit. Like I actually now am half of what I used to be, but it still could go down.
Yeah.
Right. And so yes, it is something that I already know is completely hypocritical, and I understand that. But it's again one of those things of it's very hard as a business owner to
Yeah.
let go. And I have let go, and I'm starting to get better and better at it, and starting to really understand that the time that I don't work with clients should be focused on improving the coaches that are on my team and focusing my energy there, because that has a better overall impact, which is what I care about. Right. And so at the end of the day, I have slowly started to move that in the right direction. And I will tell you that over the past 60 days, I haven't actually taken on a client. Every client's been handed off to the coaches that have been coming into the business at this point in time. So
Yeah.
moving in the right direction. It's just more of an aspect of I think all of us that are high achievers, we all try to we tend to get in our way more often than not when it comes down to trying to move in the right direction.
I love that. I love that. So, Nick, how long did it take you to hire your first employee?
So first coach was BR. So let's see here. My own company started. It would have been full time. It would have been something that started back in 2014. So
Oh,
I actually ran by myself for quite some time.
yeah.
But at that time I had other jobs that I was working, and so it wasn't something that was a full
You
time.
weren't all in. Yeah.
Right. All in was 2017, because
Okay.
that's when I actually when I opened the first gym, and then I was like, you know what? I need to be here every day. And so by that, I'm actually going to resign from the company that I was with in order to do it full time. And at that point in time, I had also built both an online and in-person coaching business that was monetarily already putting me above where I needed to be.
Gosh. Yeah.
And so it was like, why not? Right.
Yeah.
And then it was about 3 years later was when I was like, okay, I can't do this anymore by myself. 3 or 4 years.
Okay. So that was what I was hoping you would say. We don't have a lot of time left, but I want to make sure we get to these important points, because again, your mistakes, given where you're at now, are so valuable to people. So you waited 3 years until you were burnt out working 70 to 80 hours a week to hire your employees. When should someone just say, listen, F the profit, I don't care, I'm willing to take a smaller margin in order to get time back so I'm not burnt out and can give more to other clients? Like, how early in the process should they start to think about an assistant coach working for them online or in person?
Yeah. So I would say, as far as that goes, the minute that you can cover your bills and pay somebody else, do it right away.
Perfect. Yeah, amazing.
Because the thing is, the money right now is not something you should be focusing on, because the money right now can be 10x if you have people actually come in and go. Right. And so it's an aspect of that. Was one thing that I learned that actually helped the gyms grow faster. Was I learned that through personal training, was that I had to bring on people to build it faster, because I couldn't do it all myself. Right. And yeah, if I can go back in time, I would have been 10 steps ahead of where I am if we would have gotten out the gate faster.
And if we look at Jeff Bezos, right? Amazon started as what? Selling books out of his garage, I believe, right? Labor expenses, we just went over this on our group coaching call, should be anywhere from 30 to 35% of your gross revenue. If Jeff Bezos would have been like, you know what? I don't want to pay anyone for labor. I can sell books out of my garage till I die. Right. Amazon literally wouldn't be what it is now. Correct. If he was as selfish as honestly some trainers are with their profit margins, we wouldn't have Amazon. Right. So I think obviously you and Jeff Bezos, Nick, yes, 100%. So let's talk biggest advice or most important pieces of advice like you feel will honestly save trainers from themselves as they're in those early stages of burnout. What can we tell them?
So number one would be, and probably one of the hardest things for anybody to do, is blotting out time for yourself and actually doing self-care. In this, especially in our world, it's very fast paced. It's very go, now. Yeah. And what we don't realize is by not taking a step back, you're actually causing your own destruction. And so in order to actually be the creative and empowered and powerful person you want to be, that comes from making sure that you're taking enough time to do so, right? And actually taking enough time to step back and look at everything from an outside perspective. So that'd be number one. Yeah. Number two is creating systems that actually allow this to go faster and actually allows it to be more efficient. The more efficient you can make things and the more things that you can automate, the faster you're going to get to where you want to get to. Totally. So it's one of those aspects of if you're spending hours on hours building out programs from scratch, building out nutrition and all of this stuff from scratch, you're killing yourself. And there is an easier way to do it. And so, take the time to find out and get those resources to understand how to tick those metrics that are taking up a lot of your time and actually utilize the tools that are already out there to make it a much more efficient process, to make it so that you can do what you do best, which is helping people and serving people.
Amazing. Nick, thank you so much. That was an absolutely perfect way to end it. I appreciate you sharing your wins, your challenges, your successes, your pitfalls. You're so great. And this is why, you're now the leader apprentice with TRM. So we are so grateful to have the opportunity to coach you and now to have you running breakout rooms, helping with the group coaching calls. You're amazing, sir. Where can people find you?
So easiest place to find me is BR Physiques on Instagram. And then if you want to directly email me, it's nick@coachrhino.com.
Amazing. Nick, thank you so much for your time, and we will talk to you soon. Guys, thank you so much for your time. If you liked what you heard, please rate, share, subscribe, tag us in social media. I am at JAIM and the numbers 91. We are at Trainer Revenue Multiplier. Appreciate you all. And until next time, have the best rest of your day.